Good morning, everybody. It's about 8:30 in the morning here on Thursday, December 8th, 2022. I gave the cows some feed this morning and opened up this area for them to come in. Come on in, guys. They can't really tell what the new area is. Whoa! There's some long dead grass here. Long grass that's dead. Dead grass that's long. Not grass that's long dead. There's an anthill. Huh, it's a big one. Anyway, let's look at our cows here. Here's number 20. Triangle's filled in a little bit. This poor calf is hollow. Number 19's okay. Number 21 had a cold, but she's over that now. This is metal tag. Looks familiar. Here is 6 or 24. I think this is 6. Yeah, this is 6. Got a little thin. There's Blackie, gave me a calf. Beautiful calf. A little hollow there. Blackie's small. I like that. I like small cows. There's Blue, gave me 2 calves. Not twins, but year after year. There's Red. She's the bossy one. Here's Yellow. Gave me 2 calves too. Second calf is beautiful. Her hollow's filled in. She filled up on food. Anyway, it's 70 degrees. It's very humid. It rained a little bit this morning. There's a little bit of a downpour. Didn't amount to much rain on the ground though. Everything's moist. Got my rubber boots on. It's cloudy. Yesterday was cloudy. Very cloudy. Today is like mostly cloudy. Almost all the way cloudy, but there's a little bit of sky you can see. It being Thursday, this is the day that we moved them to a new row. So let's just kind of look at what we got coming up here at the end of this new row before they get into it. We got some thorns here, blackberries or raspberries. I've seen the sheep munch on these. Cows don't like them. Some more of that dead Bermuda grass. There's a fairly long stalk of grass there. Something's growing. That's good. It's warm. It's going to be warm this whole week. Next week it's going to start to get back down to the 50s and 40s. At night it might touch freezing. But it's warm. This is what I call the forest. It's not really a forest. It's more like just a little bit of trees. At the agriculture office, they said this isn't arable land, meaning I can't grow anything here, but I still bring the cows in. There's plenty for them to eat. You know, they keep the brush down too. So you can see what having cows in the woods does. There's no brush, right? I didn't have to cut anything. The cows did it all. The sheep will do the rest. So, of course, I got these dead trees. Is this tree really dead? I don't know. I want to keep the trees apart from each other, give them the best chance to survive and grow big and tall. Also, it's easier to work around trees that are spread out than like this one where it's like 3 trees growing together. That's just good for nobody. Anyway, yeah, there's some grass here. Here's a little bit of grass. Not enough to feed them. If I had some hay, I'd give it to them. There's a little bit of grass here. My, oh my. Look at that. That's quite a bit of grass. You might be able to hear the sheep bleating in the distance. That's my neighbor 2 houses down. He raises sheep. And apparently, Texas is the biggest sheep state in the country. And I want to get into sheep. The sheep, I think, are better suited for this climate and the ecology here, and will help grow more pasture land, or better pasture land. Anyway, as we go down towards the beginning of this row, which is where they're going to be this afternoon, it's kind of thin in the middle here. There's not a lot growing, not as much as under the trees, but it's not brown. Well, there's some spots that are brown. It's green. Some places are growing. Oh, I want to show you something else. Look at this. So let's go through the row they're in. Oof, oof. You can see all their hoof prints kind of disturbing the top 1/4 inch of soil there, maybe 1/2 inch. Look at this. I was coming in towards here this morning and I'm like, maybe I should graze backwards. I don't want to get zapped. Okay. They were here 3.5 days ago. Go a little further, it's a week. So you're starting to see the week ago. There's a little cattle trail they made. I'll show you the cattle trail here. It's very faint. You can't really see it that way. But this way you can definitely see it. There's a little cattle trail they made. Keep going. And then we're a week and a half ago, Thanksgiving, when it rained, and they really turned it into a mud bowl. But look what's happening. Look at all that green grass growing. Maybe it's because they missed it because it was too muddy and rainy. Maybe it's because disturbing the soil is exactly what the grass wanted. Maybe that brings more oxygen down or gets the water deeper underground. I don't know exactly why, but to me it looks like the right side is doing better than the left side. Of course, it had 3.5 more days, so really the proof here would be looking at the other side of this row. Let's take a look at that. Here the hoof prints are a lot deeper, sometimes 1 inch, maybe even 1.5 inches deep. So here, this would be the proof. Is it the disturbing of the soil? You know, I'm almost inclined to say the left side has more grass, but I think that's only because I can see it better because of the soil. Whereas on the right side over here, you can't see it because everything's green. You know, but this is the pasture that I'm overgrazing and feeding them on. That's what I get for my effort. To me, this is very positive. I like the color of the grass. It's not the best color, but it is a good color. I like the fact that it's growing. I want to keep as many green things on my pasture at all times as possible. Collect all that beautiful, delicious Texas sunlight, convert it to sugars and nutrients. Keep the soil biology alive by the plants fulfilling their role, which is to reach up towards the sky and suck in that sunlight, that beautiful sunlight, and turn it into something that the rest of God's creations can use to support their life, so they can fulfill their purpose. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's just kind of what I saw coming in. You know, I was a little depressed when I saw this big mud ball. I'm like, oh, it'll never recover. You know, although I should have trusted myself, because it's not the first time it rained. It turned to mud. There's other parts of my pasture they destroyed that are beautiful now. So that's what we got going, what we're looking forward to. Hopefully here in a few weeks we'll get into the part of the pasture that has more grass, and I'll cut back on the feed so they can eat what they're supposed to eat and not the candy. So yeah, I think cows would prefer grass over hay and hay over feed. Well, maybe hay and feed together, but they need the hay. They need that roughage. Their bacteria in their gut is there to dissolve and process the things that we can't eat and we can't digest. Which is always funny because people say that cows use X amount of farmland. Nobody puts cows on farmland. Maybe they do at the end of the harvest, you know, to get some free nutrients or to put some nutrition back in the soil. But cows are not, like, you don't take top grade farmland and say, I'm going to grow a pasture and put cows on it. Nobody does that. That's ridiculous. You take land that is marginal, like this land, you know, nobody woke up and said, hey, this little particular plot of land, we're going to plant cotton, or we're going to plant wheat, or we're going to plant corn or soybeans. Nobody said that, because this land just isn't good for that. It's barely passable for pasture land, right? And so what's really happening is farmers are using cows to turn marginal or depleted land into soil. And if I keep doing this for 50 years, maybe even 20 years, who knows? Maybe one day some corn guy will come by and look at my soil and say, why don't you plant some corn? You could probably get some pretty good yields with your soil. Or maybe some cotton guy will recommend I do cotton, which those crops will make a lot more money than cows ever will. Of course, it requires more work, more machinery, more investment, but you know, but that's what cows are for. They're for converting the marginal land that's not useful for anything else into good land, you know. And oh, you might say, oh, but the woods, the trees, you know. Yeah, you know, where I come from in the Pacific Northwest, we had lots of woods and trees, but everything's dead up there. There's not much life. I come here to Texas and I'm overwhelmed by the amount of birds and the squirrels and all the different animals that I see. The bugs, there's ridiculous amounts of bugs down here in Texas. There's hardly any up there where I came from. We had all the forests in the world. The thing about forests is they're dead. The only thing that grows in forests are trees, and even that, they're barely hanging on. You know, so this land with the trees, it might be appeal to you, but in all honesty, it's the least productive use of land. You know, in terms of like creating nutrition, creating health, creating life, you know. Pasture is a little better than forest land, and then once you get fertile soil, thick fertile soil, then you can start thinking about growing other things and start maximizing the amount of life you can get per acre, you know. So anyway, yeah, next time you hear somebody say the cows are eating our farmland, show them this video. Ask them if this is farmland. Ask them if they'd like to come try to plow up the field and plant some corn and see what happens. You know, if they're willing to pay me a lot of money, I might let them do it. You know, so anyway, guys, signing off. Take care. Bye-bye.